Today we'll be starting with question number 11. I think last lecture we had done 9 and 10. We ended with question number 10, I think. So let us start with question number 11 today. 11, 12, 13 and 14. We'll complete it. Yes, Varun, anything you have?
Nothing, sir.
You look, your voice seems to be very happy.
Yes, sir.
Either it is because exams are postponed, or it is because the portion is coming to an end, or it is because my lectures are coming to an end.
We are very sad, but regarding your lectures come to an end, sir.
We can have other topics also, other subjects also. If you are interested, you can join in. Well, I'm starting with for other students, CMA students who are not from CNS. I'm starting with their FR and SFM and all that.
Sir, actually, I would be planning for financial reporting, sir. So please do let me know.
Yes, Arvind. Arvind, you have told me about it.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I want DT, sir.
Now, this Varun, is it you?
Yes, sir.
Varun, DT's lectures are already going on in the morning, no?
Not, I want your lectures, sir, not other faculties.
I'll say it in Hindi. I don't know if you understand. मरवाओगे क्या मुझे?
No, sir. No, sir. We can't do that for now. Actually, we don't do that. Actually, you are very important for us. That's.
Yeah.
But ideal, sir. If you have a plan as such, you can just let us know, sir. If you can spare some time on DT as well, that would help us actually.
The DT lectures will be there, but it will not be possible for this attempt. For September attempt, it will not be possible. For December, I'm doing it.
Okay.
November students of CA final and December students of CMA. For both of them, I'll be doing direct tax as well as indirect tax. Because all these batches are kept waiting because I have to finish my present commitment in hand. So once all these things get over, then I'll be starting with FR, I'll be starting with DT, indirect tax, all these things I will be starting.
When you are going to start for them, sir?
Most probably it will be, I think SFM is starting from 1st July.
Yes,
I have the timetable, so I'll just let you know. SFM is starting for CA final, November batch. It is starting on 1st of July. Then subsequently it will be, depending upon the time slots available, because SFM batch is in the morning, the evening slot becomes free, then maybe I'll start another topic in evening batch. And for Arvindan, I have to do him QT also of SCM, that is decision making part.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us start with question number 11 today and wind up with this one. A and B are two newly established divisions of SV Limited. These two divisions operate as independent units. They have agreed to a 20% per annum charge for capital provided by SV Limited. The budgets for the two divisions are as follows. That means amount is invested by the company in two divisions, that is A and B, and returns of 20% is promised to them. Initial investment is about 10 crores in A and 15 crores in B. Expected net cash flows for the first year is 1.9 crores and 3.20 crores. For the second to eighth year, it is 2.9 crores and 4.2 crores. That is on per annum basis. In the first year of operation, A secured 5% increase in the market share in sale of its products at the cost of B. Required. Evaluate the performance of the two divisions as envisaged in the budget using ROI and residual income basis. So two methods are there: returns on capital employed and residual income. Calculate the net profit of the two divisions for the first year of operation based on the achievement of market share increase of 5%. Market share increase of 5% for A with corresponding reduction in market share for B. So let us see how to solve. First by residual income method. Then we will show the second method, returns on capital employed. So prepare a statement showing residual income. Statement showing residual income. Particulars in two columns, division A, division B. First we'll start with total initial investment. It is 10 crores in division A and 15 crores in division B. Then we'll calculate average investment. Average investment is total investment divided by 2. That is 5 crores for division A and 7.5 crores, that is 7 crore 50 lakhs for division B. Cash flows. Year 1 they have given, first year. 1.9 crores, that is 1 crore 90 lakhs. And 3 crores 20 lakhs. Just put 2 lines over here. This is separate. Then years 2 to 8. They have given 2.9 crores. That is 2.9 crores per year. So calculate how much it will be for 7 years. Sorry. ₹20 crores 30 lakhs. Check. ₹20 crores 30 lakhs. And second one, it is 4.2 crores per year. into 7 years. That is 29 crore 40 lakhs. This is the total cash flows that we are calculating. ₹22 crores 20 lakhs. This is over a period of 8 years. This is 32 crores 60 lakhs. Now, when we say residual income method, it means what? It means that you have to understand what you are doing. Residual income method means whatever are the cash flows. From that, we set aside whatever is required to be invested. Okay. And accordingly, whatever is left over, that is surplus cash flows, that will be invested. That will be available for business as profits. So, if you go to see, these are the total cash flows that we are having. Now, from this, if I minus the investment made 10 crores and 15 crores, I will have the surplus cash. Surplus cash means it is nothing but a profit. Because if my inflows are 22 lakh 20, 22 crore 20, and my outflow is only 10 crores, that means there is a surplus or a profit of 12 crores 20 lakhs. Okay. So from this, actually, there's no need to put this. What you can do is from this, we write less investment made. Investment made 10 crores and 15 crores. So I have surplus cash flows. Surplus cash flow is also called as residual income. That is why it is called residual income. After minusing from the cash flows, total cash flows, whatever you have invested, that is residual income. 12 crores 20 lakhs and 17 crores 60 lakhs. So this is, you can call this as surplus cash flows, you can call this as residual income, you can call this as profit. Okay. Now, if this is the profit over the period of 8 years, what is the average profit? Average annual profit. Average annual profit, how do we get? By dividing these figures by 8 years, because this is over a period of 8 years. So per annum, if I calculate, it is 12 crore 20 lakhs divided by 8. I will get 1 crore 52 lakh 50. And 17 crore 60 lakhs divided by 8. I get 2 crores 20 lakhs. Now, again, from the point of view of annual profit, this is my average annual profit. Now, again, on this, interest is going to be calculated, which has to be paid to the company, SV Limited. That is at the rate of 20%. So, what is the residual profit? Surplus cash flow is a residual cash flow. What is a residual profit? Residual profit is when from the average annual profit, I subtract the interest that is payable to whom? To the company at 20%, less 20% interest paid on average capital employed. And what is the average capital employed? I have calculated here. 5 crores. 20% of 5 crores is 1 crore. 20% of 7 crore 50 lakhs. 1 crore 50 lakhs. So what is the residual profit then? We'll call this as residual income or residual profit. ₹52 lakh 50,000 and 70 lakhs. Now, question is certain points I will explain. Why interest is calculated on average capital employed? Because the capital employed is not going to remain the same for all the years. You have invested 10 crores at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, the entire investment is consumed. It is not going to come back. It is not going to come back by way of investment. It is not a working capital that is going to come back. So capital investment, once you have made, for example, you purchase some fixed assets and machinery, equipment, and all these things. So at the end of the life, value becomes zero. So whatever you have invested at the beginning, 10 crores, at the end it becomes zero. So 10 crores plus zero divided by 2. So it will be average capital employed. That is why interest is calculated on average capital employed. Okay. So in this way, I have prepared statement showing residual income. After interest is paid on that average capital employed, what is the net profit available for the business? Okay, that is 52 lakh 50 for division A and 70 lakhs for division B after interest is paid to SV Limited, which has provided us with the capital. Okay, so that is your first part. Now we'll do the same thing on the basis of returns on investment or returns on capital employed basis. So prepare second statement. Statement showing returns on capital employed. Average annual profit. We have calculated this. That is this figure: 1 crore 52 lakh 50,000 and 2 crore 20 lakhs. 1 crore 52 lakh 50,000 and 2 crore 20 lakhs. This is your average profit. Average investment. Also we had calculated 5 crores and 7 crore 50 lakhs. 5 crores, 7 crore 50 lakhs. Now calculate the returns on investment. That is ROI. One crore 52 lakh 50 divided by 5 crores into 100. That is 30.5%. 2 crore 20 lakhs divided by 7 crore 50 lakhs. Percentage 29.33%. Now, They have said evaluate the performance of the two divisions as envisaged in the budget. Now, actually, your subject, is strategic cost management and performance evaluation. Like decision making comes under strategic cost management only. It is actually strategic cost management and performance evaluation. So the two topics which are there, which one? Divisional transfer pricing that we had done earlier. And this topic, that is pricing decision, comes under the heading of performance evaluation. Which division has performed better or which particular company has performed better. So this is evaluation of performance. So if you go to see on the basis of the residual income, I say that residual income of B Limited is or division B is better because it has got 70 lakhs as compared to division A which has got 52 lakh 50. So on the basis of residual income basis, I say division B is better. But on the basis of the returns on capital employed, I find that division A has got a higher returns on capital employed. So I say that division A has performed better. Okay, so write down below this. On the basis of residual income, division B has performed better. Division B has performed better. However, on the basis of returns on capital employed, division A has performed better. Division A has performed better. That is the first part of the question. Second part of the question is that they have asked us to calculate the net profit of the two divisions for the first year only for the first year. Okay, so let us calculate that. Statement showing profit year one. Statement showing profit year one. Tell me what is the average net profit for year one? Read the second part of the question and then tell me. Average net profit of year one. See what they have given us. Calculate the net profit of the two divisions for the first year of operation based on the achievement of market share increase of 5% for A with corresponding reduction in market share for B. That means A has increased by 5% and B has decreased by 5%. Okay. Now let me go to the figures. Year one figures. This is the year one figure. 1 crore 90 lakhs. So 1 crore 90 lakhs divided by, sorry, plus 5% increase. So that makes it 1 crore 99 lakh 50,000. Okay. This has increased by 5%. So I'll take this as 1 crore 99 lakh 50,000. 1 crore 99 lakh 50,000. Division B was having 3 crore 20 lakhs minus 5%. 3 crore 20 lakhs minus 5%. So that will come to 3 crore 4 lakhs. Okay, minus the depreciation. Ten crores is the initial investment. 10 crores at the end of the year, I told you at the end of 8 years, it is going to become 0. That means depreciation will be 10 crores minus the scrap value nil divided by 8 years. So that comes to 1 crore 25 lakhs. 1 crore 25 lakhs. How did you get this? It is 10 crores, 10 CR divided by 8 years. Same way, 15 crores divided by 8 years. 15 crores divided by 8 years is equal to 1 crore 87 lakhs 50,000. Net profit 74 lakh 50,000. 1 crore 16 lakh 50,000. So that is your question number 11. Let us come to question 12. Engineers Limited plans to introduce 2 products A and B in the market. These will be manufactured in Department X, which will be treated as a profit center. Production volume and costs are estimated as follows. Annual production 3 lakhs and 5 lakhs. Material cost per unit 150, 180. Direct labor cost per unit is 20 rupees per hour. 300 rupees. So if I divide that 300 divided by 20, it comes to 15 hours. 15 hours. And 420 divided by 20, that comes to 21 hours. Proportional overheads other than interest chargeable to 2 products A and B are given. Factory overheads 100% of direct wages, of which 50% is fixed. Admin overheads 10% of factory cost. Factory cost is works cost, out of which entire 100% is fixed. Selling and distribution overheads 50% variable, 30 rupees and 40 rupees respectively per unit of products A and B. Then they have given the fixed capital investment in the department will be 2,500 lakhs. Working capital requirement is equivalent to 6 months stock of cost of sales of both the products. To finance this project, a term loan of 50% of working capital required has been obtained from a financial institution at an interest rate of 18% per annum. Department X is expected to give a return of 20% on capital employed. Required unit selling prices for products A and B such that the contribution per labor rounded up to the next higher integer is the same for both the products. Contribution per labor hour is the same for both the products. And then finally, statement of overall profitability expected. First, what we'll do is we'll calculate the unit cost or the statement of cost, similar to cost sheet, where we start with direct materials, direct labor, prime cost, calculate the works cost, office cost, and all these things, and find out the total cost. Okay. So let us do this. Prepare statement of unit cost with 2 columns for A and B. All per unit figures. Direct material cost 150 and 180. Direct labor cost 300 and 420. Direct expenses are not there. So this will be your prime cost. $450 and 600. Factory overheads. Variable. For the first one, 300 rupees, 100% of direct wages. So 300 rupees, 50% is variable. So 300 into 50%. So that will come to 150. Second one, it is 420. 50% of that is variable. 100% is factory overhead. So 420, 100% is 420. 50% is variable, so 210. And the balance 50% is fixed. So 150 and 210. Prime cost plus factory overheads will give works cost. $750. 1020. Office and admin overheads. %10 of factory cost. And the entire amount is fixed. So 750, 10% will be 75. And 10% of this is 102. Works cost plus admin overheads will give me cost of production. 825, 1122. Selling and distribution overheads. Variable 50% of 30, that is 15, and 50% of 40, that is 20. Fixed, the remaining 50%. Take the total. $855, 1162. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll take the total fixed cost of A and B. Total fixed cost of A and B. Total fixed cost of A and B, 150 here. This is entire fixed, 75 here, 225. 225 plus 15, 240. 240. For B, 210 plus 102, that is 312. 312 plus 20, 332. Now I'll write total variable cost. $450 plus 150, 600. 600 plus this 15, 615, 615. So 600 plus 210, 810, 830. Now I'll prepare statement showing total cost. Statement showing total cost. With A and B. Units produced and sold. A, it is 3 lakhs. B, it is 5 lakhs. Now calculate variable cost. $615 per unit. 615 multiplied by 3 lakhs will give 18 crore 45 lakhs. 18 crore 45 lakhs. And 830 into 5 lakhs will give 41 crores 50 lakhs. 41 crore 50 lakhs. And total is 59 crores 95 lakhs. Fixed cost 240 into 3 lakhs 72 lakhs. Sorry, 7 crore 20 lakhs. And the other one is 16 crore 60 lakhs. Sorry, 23 crores 80 lakhs. Take the total cost. ₹25 crores 65 lakhs. ₹58 crore 10 lakhs. ₹83 crore 75 lakhs. Now they have told us fixed capital investment in the department will be 2,500 lakhs. Okay. So let us see what is the total investment involved. Right, total investment. Fixed capital investment. Fixed capital investment is 2,500 lakhs. Now tell me, how much is the working capital required? You said that working capital requirement is equal to 6 months stock of cost of sales of both the products.
50,250 lakhs, sir.
No. Working capital requirement.
It's a 29 crores 97 lakhs 49,000, sir.
No. What is the total cost of sales? The total cost of sales is this figure, no? Of both the
Yes.
products. That is, if you go to see in lakhs, it is 8375 lakhs. 8375 lakhs. 6 months
Yes, sir.
required. 6 months requirement. So it is 4187.5 lakhs. Check. This is actually 8375 lakhs for the year.
Yes, sir. Annual sales.
So it is 4187.5. So working capital, I will show here. 8375 lakhs divided by 2. That is 4187 lakhs. 4187.5 lakhs. So total investment 6687.5 lakhs. 6687.5 lakhs. Now, what they have said is, we have to understand this problem very properly, very correctly, because wordings are given in such a manner. See, they have said that working capital requirement is equivalent to 6 months stock of cost of sales of both the products. To finance this project, a term loan of 50% of working capital required has been obtained from a financial institution at an interest rate of 18% per annum. Okay. Department X is expected to give a return of 20% on capital employed. So that means 20% on capital employed is the returns expected. So below this I will write returns on capital employed. %20 of 6687.5 lakhs. So that comes to 1337.5 lakhs. Now, what is the implication of this? I tell you. The implication of this is that when I calculate my revenue, that is sales. How do I calculate my sales? I calculate my sales as total cost plus profit. Correct? My sales will be total cost plus profit. What is my total cost? I've got my total cost. What is it? 8375 lakhs. Correct? This is my profit. This is my cost. How much is the profit expected? 1337.5 lakhs. This is my profit expected. Desired profit. So my selling price will be total of this. Correct? So I write here sales in bracket 8375, that is my cost, plus desired profit 1337.5 lakhs. So that comes to 9712.5 lakhs. Minus total variable cost. Total variable cost. Total variable cost is this figure. 5,995 lakhs. 5,995 lakhs. So contribution is equal to 3717.5 lakhs. Contribution is 3717.5 lakhs. Now what they have said? They have said that unit selling price unit selling price for products A and B. This is the total sales. I want the selling price for product A separate and B separate. But how does that selling price come? Such that the contribution per labor hour rounded up to the next higher integer is the same. The contribution per labor hour should be same. Contribution per labor hour should be same. So first we'll calculate total labor hours. Total labor hours. For product A, 3 lakh units. And how many labor hours we said for A? 15 hours per unit. So that comes to 45 lakh hours. For product B, we are manufacturing 5 lakh units. And per unit, it was 21 hours. So that will come to 1 crore 5 lakh hours. So total it will be 1 crore 50 lakh labor hours. One crore 50 lakh labor hours. So what is the contribution per labor hour? Contribution per labor hour is equal to 3717.5 divided by 150. How much? Rounded up to the next, they have said rounded up to the next higher integer. So tell me how much it will be.
25.
25. We get 24 point something. So that will be rounded up to the next higher integer, that is 25. So now keeping this labor hour contribution per labor hour constant, we'll find out the variable cost. We'll find out the selling price to be fixed for each of the two products A and B. How to calculate? Selling price is equal to variable cost plus contribution. Selling price is equal to variable cost plus contribution. So calculation of selling price such that contribution per labor hour is same for product A and for product B. Variable cost $615 and 830. We have already calculated this in the very first step. 615 and 830. 615 and 830. Plus contribution. For labor hour, it should be the same. So contribution for A, it is 25 rupees per labor hour into 15 labor hours. So that is 375. For B, the contribution per labor hour remains same 25 into 21 hours. That is 525. So what was the question? The question was very carefully, cleverly, they had worded that it should be contribution per labor hour should be same, not contribution per unit. It was contribution per labor hour. If it was contribution per unit, then it was much more simpler. I take the contribution divided by 8 lakhs. Okay, like that I would have done, but it is not per unit, it is per labor hour. So we calculated the fixed contribution per labor hour. So if I take the total 990 and this comes to 1355. The first part of the question is over. That is calculation of selling price such that contribution per labor hour is going to remain the same. Now they have asked us to prepare statement of overall profitability. So write statement showing overall profitability. Okay, let us start with sales. You can write here all figures in lakhs. All figures in lakhs. Starting with sales, selling price I've just calculated 990. 990 into 3. 3 means 3 lakhs. 990 into 3 lakhs. That comes to 2,970 lakhs. And 1355 into 5 lakhs. 6,775 lakhs. So total 9,745 lakhs. Minus variable cost. Same way, 615 is the variable cost per unit into 3, that is 1845. And 830 into 5 is 4150. Total 5,995 lakhs. Contribution. 1125, 2625, 3750. Minus the fixed cost. Minus the fixed cost. Total fixed cost, we have already calculated. Total fixed cost 2,380 lakhs. Minus What else? We have taken a loan.
Working capital interest.
Yes, interest on the loan. But what is the amount of loan? Amount of loan is 50% of working capital. What is 50? What is working capital? 4187.5 lakhs. 50% of that is 2093.
2093.
Yes. So interest on working capital 2093.75 into 18%.
376.83.
Yes, 376.88. Calculate the profit. How much?
993.1.
993.12.
12.
Okay. That is the profit, overall profit of the company. Question number 13. PH Limited manufactures product S in departments A and B, which also manufacture other products using the same machine. Particulars per unit of the product S are as follows. Direct materials M and P, M 8 kgs at 3 per kg in department A, P 4 kgs at 5 rupees per kg used in department B. Direct labor 2 hours at the rate of 12 rupees per hour in department A, 3 hours at the rate of 10 rupees per hour in department B. Overheads recovered on the basis of direct wages. Fixed 6 rupees per hour and 3 rupees per hour. Variable 5 rupees per hour and 2 rupees per hour. Value of plant and machinery is given 16 lakhs and 8 lakhs. Variable selling and distribution overheads relating to product S amounted to rupees 20,000 per month. The product requires a working capital of 3 lakhs at the target volume of 1,000 units per month, occupying 25% of practical capacity. Required using the returns on investment pricing formula. Find the price of the product S to yield a contribution to cover 24% rate of return on investment. Second, if product S is a well-established product in the market, what should be the basis of fixation of price? Set the minimum price on that basis. And then, if product S is a new product about to be launched in the market, what should be the basis for price fixation? Set the minimum price on that basis. So first I'll prepare a statement showing total variable cost. Then on that variable cost that I'll calculate, I will find out what are the total number of labor hours required. And then we'll try to find out the selling price. Right now, statement showing total variable cost. We'll start with direct materials. Material M 8 into 3, 24, plus material P 4 into 5, 20. So 44 rupees. Direct labor. Department A 2 into 12. Department B 3 into 10. Total 54. Variable overheads. Department A 2 hours into 5 rupees per hour. Department B 3 hours into 2 rupees per hour. Selling overheads. $20,000 per month. 20,000 divided by how many units? 1,000 units per month. That comes to 20 rupees per unit. Total variable cost per unit 134. Total hours required for 12,000 units per annum. Department A how much? 2 into 12,000. 24,000 hours. And Department B 3 hours per unit into 12,000 units, 36,000 hours. Total we require 60,000 hours. And these 1,000 units that we are manufacturing at 25% of practical capacity. So these 60,000 hours are equivalent to 25% capacity. Alright? We are calculating for 12,000. Now, how did you get 12,000? It is 1,000 units into 12 months. 1,000 units per month into 12 months. But that 1,000 units per month, we are operating actually at 25% capacity. So the 60,000 hours required for the product is at 25% capacity. So let us find out what is the 100% capacity. Write down. At 25% capacity, company requires 60,000 hours. Therefore, at 100% capacity, company will require 2,40,000 hours. Now tell me, they have said that product requires a working capital of 3 lakhs at the target volume of 1,000 units. So how much will be the total investment required for both the departments? Value of plant and machinery they have given to you, 16 lakhs in the first department and 8 lakhs in the second department, which means that total investment required is 24 lakhs. Okay, so write down fixed capital investment. Fixed capital investment required for 12,000 units is rupees 24 lakhs. Therefore, returns required is equal to 24% of 24 lakhs. That is 5,76,000. Returns per hour is equal to 5,76,000 divided by total 2,40,000 hours. That is 2.4 per hour. This is the returns required. Therefore, returns per unit returns per unit is equal to 5 hours into 2.4, that is equal to 12 rupees per unit.
Sir, should we not include working capital to this capital employed, sir? There is a 3 lakh working capital for the target volume of 1000 rupees is given.
So that will calculate separately.
Okay.
Working capital requirement will be calculated separately. Because there is no harm. But what we are doing here is we are calculating the capital investment, returns on capital investment on the basis of number of hours. And then we are calculating on the per unit basis. For working capital, I will be taking directly on per unit basis.
Okay, sir.
Working capital requirement for 12,000 units equals to rupees 3 lakhs. Returns is equal to 24% of 3 lakhs. That is equal to 72,000. Contribution per unit. Return, this is your actual contribution. So contribution per unit is equal to 72,000 divided by 12,000 units. ₹6 per unit. Therefore, total returns or total contribution required is equal to 12 rupees plus 6 rupees. 18 rupees per unit. Required selling price is equal to variable cost. What is the variable cost?
134.
134. So 134 plus 18 rupees. $152 per unit. Now, the first part of the question is what? To calculate the selling price that we have calculated. Second part of the question says, if product S is a well-established product in the market, what should be the basis of price fixation? What should be the basis of price fixation? What will you say?
In this situation, not only requiring of variable cost, we will be requiring fixed cost also.
So that means the minimum price will be the total cost.
Yes, 152.
Yeah. So write down. if the product S is a well-established product, this is the answer to the second part. If the product S is a well-established product in the market, well-established product in the market, then the minimum price should be the total cost. Then the minimum price should be the total cost. That is variable cost plus fixed cost. Variable cost plus fixed cost. Variable cost is 134. Fixed cost is 6 rupees per hour into 2 hours plus 3 rupees per hour into 3 hours. $155 per unit. $155 per unit. Okay. Third part of the question asks, if it is a new product, then what should be the basis? New product, absolutely new product. What is the minimum price?
Variables.
Yes, it will be minimum variable cost. Okay, minimum variable cost. Write down. If S is a new product, then the minimum price, minimum selling price, should cover at least the variable cost. Should cover at least the variable cost. That is rupees 134 per unit. Rupees 134 per unit. Okay. So that completes question number 13. Now, let us come to question 14. Transferor Limited has two processes, preparing and finishing process. Normal output per week is given to you as 7,500 units at 75% capacity. That means 100% capacity, it is going to be 10,000 units. Transferor Limited production has production problems in preparing and require 2,000 units per week of prepared material for their finishing process. The existing cost structure of one particular prepared unit of Transferor Limited at existing capacity. Material 2 rupees, 100% variable, labor 2 rupees, 50% variable. That means 1 rupee fixed and 1 rupee variable. Overheads 25% variable, 1 rupee is variable, 3 rupees fixed. Sale price of a completed unit of Transferor Limited is 16 rupees with a profit of 4 per unit. Contrast the effect on the profits of Transferor Limited for 6 months, that is 25 weeks, of supplying units to Transferor Limited with the following alternative transfer prices per unit. First, marginal cost. Second, marginal cost plus 25%. Third, marginal cost plus 15% returns on capital employed, where they have given capital employed is 20 lakhs. Fourth, existing cost. Fifth, existing cost plus portion of profit on the basis of preparing cost plus total cost into unit profit. Sixth, at an agreed market price of 8.5, assume no increase in the fixed cost. Okay. So, since there is going to be no increase in the fixed cost, most of the cases we will be considering the transfer price as the variable cost. Okay, or the marginal cost. Variable cost is the same as the marginal cost. Okay, let us answer each one of those questions now. First, we write down. Write down. It is totally oral problem. Write down. Normally, since there is no increase in fixed cost, since there is no increase in the fixed cost, Transferor Limited would transfer 2000 units. Transferor Limited would transfer 2000 units to Transferee Limited. To Transferee Limited on the basis of marginal cost. On the basis of marginal cost or variable cost. On the basis of marginal cost or variable cost. Okay, first one. If the transfer price is marginal cost, right now, they are asking us to find out the effect on the profit if the transfer cost is the transfer price is the marginal cost, right now. Number one, answer to the first one. If the transfer price is marginal cost, if the transfer price is marginal cost, then there will be no change in profit. Then there will be no change in profit. What is the marginal cost here? Marginal cost is 2 rupees here. Then 1 rupee here.
4, sir.
And 1 rupee here. So total is 4 rupees. Okay. So if the transfer price is marginal cost, there is no change in the profit. Second one. They have said marginal cost plus 25%. If it is marginal cost plus 25%, then the profit will increase by 25% of marginal cost. 25% of 4 rupees is 1 rupee. Okay. 1 rupee into, they have asked us to calculate for 25 weeks. So 1 rupee into 2000 units for 25 weeks. That will come to 50,000 rupees. Right now. If the transfer price is marginal cost plus 25%. If the transfer price is marginal cost plus 25%, then profit will increase by 25%. Profit will increase by 25% of marginal cost. That is 25% of 4 rupees. 1 rupee. Therefore, increase in profit is equal to 1 rupee into 2000 units for 50 weeks. Sorry, 25 weeks. So increase in profit is 50,000. Third one. They are saying transfer price is marginal cost plus 15% returns on capital employed, which is 20 lakhs. Okay. So let us see. Then it means that the profit is going to increase by that 15% returns on capital employed. So write down. If transfer price is marginal cost, if transfer price is marginal cost, plus 15% returns on capital employed. Plus 15% returns on capital employed. Then profit will increase by 15%
1,50,000.
On 20 lakhs for 6 months now.
Yes, sir.
So that is 1,50,000. 15 lakhs, 15% of 20 lakhs for 6 months. 1,50,000. Okay. Then fourth, they are saying if the transfer price is existing cost means total cost. Total cost means variable plus fixed. Now we are selling at variable cost. So if I'm selling at total cost, then the increase in the profit will be equal to the fixed cost. What is the fixed cost in the problem? Fixed cost in the problem is labor 1 rupee plus overheads 3 rupees. So that is again 4 rupees. Okay, write down.
Cost 2 lakhs.
2 lakhs. So write down. If transfer price is at existing cost, then increase in profit is equivalent to the fixed cost. That is 4 rupees per unit. Therefore, increase in profit is equal to 4 into 50,000 units. That is 2 lakhs. 4 into 50,000 units, that is 2 lakhs. Okay. Let us see the fifth one. Fifth one says, if it is existing cost plus a portion of profit on the basis of preparing cost, this should be not plus, it should be divided by. It is looking plus, it is divided by. Preparing cost divided by total cost into unit profit. Preparing cost divided by total cost into unit profit. So existing cost is fixed plus variable 8 rupees plus portion of profit on what basis? It is 8 rupees by 12 rupees into portion of profit 4 rupees. Preparing cost is 8 rupees upon total cost will be 12 rupees including profit into 4. Correct, no? So it will come to how much?
10.67.
10.67, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So write down. If transfer price is existing cost plus portion of profit, then transfer price is 10.67. Transfer price is 10.67. But they have not asked for transfer price. They have asked for increase in profit. So what will be increase in profit? 10.67 minus the variable cost. Variable cost is 4. That is 6.67. Got it? So write down. Therefore, increase in profit equals to 10.67 minus 4 into 50,000 units. See how much it comes to.
3,33,333.
3,33,500.
500.
Okay. 3,33,500. Last one. At an agreed market price of 8.50. So write down. If transfer price is agreed price of 8.50 per unit. If transfer price is agreed market price of 8.50 per unit, then increase in profit equals to 8.5 minus the variable cost 4 rupees. 4.5 into 50,000 units.
2 lakhs 20.
2,25,000. 2,25,000. Okay, now tell me, out of all these 5 methods or 6 methods that you have got, which method gives us the maximum profit? Check and tell me. Which method gives you maximum profit? First one, there is no change in profit. Second one, there is 50,000 profit. Third one, there is 1,50,000 profit. Fourth one, it is 2 lakhs profit. Fifth one, it is 3,33,500 profit. Fourth one is, last one is 2,25,000 profit. Which method gives you
0.5.
maximum profit? Method 5. Method 5 means it is existing cost plus portion of profit. So write final conclusion. From the above calculations, we can conclude that profit will be maximum when the transfer price is existing cost plus portion of profit. Existing cost plus portion of profit. Okay. So with that, I conclude my pricing decision topic also. Now, for the standard costing, I will be keeping 3 hours lecture. In case I'm not having the time in the evening, can I keep it in the morning after your tax lecture?
Yes, sir.
7 to 9, 9:15, your tax lecture is there. So I'll start from 10 o'clock. 3 hours session will be 10 to 1. So the remaining day you are free. Is it possible?
For me, no problem, sir.
Yes, Pratibha?
Yes, sir.
RK is not saying anything. He doesn't want to commit.
Yes, sir. No problem, sir.
Okay. What about you, Arvind?
Sir, actually, on working days it may be difficult, but you can proceed, sir. I will look at the recording test because majority of the students are attending.
Okay.
So I can go through the recording if required. I'll go with that.
What about the other two students? Taji and another person is there. I don't know his name.
Problem, sir.
Possible, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
On
mostly I will try to keep it in the evening only, 3 to 6. But in case I'm not in a position to keep it in the evening, I will keep it in the morning. 10. Okay. Yeah. Have a nice day.